Hi, my name is Malvin. I am 19 years old and I spent the last 4 years teaching myself knife making. I'm completely passionate about this, but now I want to prove myself that I'm actually capable of doing something bigger than just a knife. What I'm going to do is I'm going to forge an early medieval one-handed sword. This kind of sword dated to around 1000 to 1300 and it evolved from the Viking sword. But the difference between a Viking sword and the early medieval sword is that the Viking sword has a much shorter guard and that that the grip length is a bit shorter and the pommel is made in a way so that your hand is locked in place so nothing will happen while hacking and slicing onto your opponents. While the early medieval sword has a bit of a wider guard and the pommel is more of a rounder shape so that you have a bit more movement ability in your wrist and with your hand. As you can see, the tip is nice and pointy, but the rest of the sword is quite wide in relation to a newer sword. Like if you imagine a one and a half handed sword from the 1600s, this would be much, much thinner. For the guard, I went with the classic style. The handle will be about 11 centimeters long, which I personally find the best length for any handle. For the pommel, I will go with the hexagon shape. Firstly, because it makes my life easier to do it a hexagon instead of round. And secondly, because it just looks cool. It's a very exciting moment. It's time to start the actual forging. I have prepared myself a little model of the sword I'm going to make. Obviously the guard is still missing. The piece wasn't wide enough. But this is my model. It's quite nice. And here I have my steel, which is way too long. You can actually see it. This is the size of the sword and that's too long. So I was thinking about different ways of doing it. First I thought, yeah, I'm going to put the whole thing in the forge it out and then cut off the rest in the end, but it's so uncomfortable to have this long piece and it's heavy, it's crazy heavy. So I'm already now going to cut a little piece and then start with the actual forging. Well, that is way better.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds.
It's going forward. The tip is already starting to take shape. Whoa, that's hot. My face is burning. Now I'm going to start to make it all a bit thinner and to bring it to the shape I want. It's a lot of material to do, but it's so much fun. Okay, now I have cut off a bit of the tank, so I don't have to forge that much and I can reuse the material for other knives. And as you probably have seen, it's all a bit curved, so I'm going to straighten it out now. Okay, now everything is kind of straight. And I have here my model, and what I have to do now is forge this, this fuller, no, not fuller, how it's called, this bloodline here. And obviously on the real sword it's not going to be this wide, it's going to be way thinner, only that here this is very thick and because of that it's so wide. And for this I have to construct myself a tool with two round bars on each side like this that are connected with a piece of metal, so I can put the sword inside and hammer on top. For this I am going to use this fat bar of steel here. I will cut off two pieces and weld them to the other piece of steel and then put everything on a flat surface so it can stand on my anvil. And then it's a matter of patience and forging out this thing. I hope it works well. I really hope it works. I really hope it works. Okay, that definitely didn't work how I expected. So I'm going to grind everything there. A bit of time lost, but it was worth it. If I would have a power hammer, it would have been no problem at all, but I still don't have one. So yeah, I have to grind it. Okay, I managed to clean everything off nicely. There are still some little black spots on this side even more, but that's no problem at all because they're quite exactly where I will grind the bloodline. So that's really no problem. Only here you can see they go a bit too wide to the side, but also those will just vanish as I will grind the bevels to the blade. So now comes the scariest part of all the project, grinding the bloodline. And what I'm going to do now is I will start to use my angle grinder, this little boy here, to make a line in the middle of the blade on each side, so that when I go to the belt grinder, I have a way easier time on grinding a straight line. It will still be quite scary, but I think I will manage to do it. Maybe, no, not maybe. For sure, first of all, I will do a test piece and see how it goes. I already did a dagger where I did a bloodline, but it was really difficult. So I want to do another test piece and then go here to the sword because I really don't want to mess it up. So let's get to work. As you can see here, I've got my nice line grind into the piece, and now I'm going to try to grind this bloodline. Well, that was way easier than I expected, probably because the metal is very soft and short and small. With the sword it will be a bit more of a challenge because it's so long and heavy and a bit harder than this, even if it's not hardened yet. But that looks quite nice. That's a beautiful bloodline. I'm happy with that. I can go with it. So let's start with the sword. I'm afraid. Okay, so it looks the same as on the test piece. I'm quite happy with that. I didn't make the cut until up here because there I won't need it. So let's go to the grinder. I am so happy right now. Look at this. I have grind myself 2 beautiful bloodlines. It's just amazing. I didn't think it would go that well. I actually didn't have any problems at all. All the practice I did before really paid out. Well, at this point I'm going to end the first episode of my sword making series. I've got a beautiful blade and I'm thrilled to continue, and I hope you are too thrilled to continue to watch this. If you haven't yet, follow my channel, and if you liked it, leave a like. It's always very helpful. It helps me spread it. And yeah, that's it for today. See you the next time. Goodbye.